Be perfect, man. It's never perfect, my brother.
Yeah. And Zach, are you able to hear Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
1, 2. It's never perfect, you know?
Yeah. But we'll make it as good as we can.
Yeah, we do. My thing is, man, I love it when I keep telling my daughter she plays the trumpet. I don't care if you play a wrong note. I don't care. My thing is, did you try? Did you put forth the effort? Did you make some sound come out of the trumpet, you know?
100%. I love that.
So, Ari, yeah, this is cool. Roundup, come on in. It is cool to see everybody. We got 15 people here waiting for us. Yes, it is a beautiful day here in the Virginia Beach area. Where are you, by the way, Ari?
We are in a beautiful little town called Spring Hill here in Florida.
Florida.
About 45 minutes north of Tampa.
Gotcha. And you are doing.
We have our whole team. Actually, I can bring that up on the screen.
You can, yeah, bring it up. You got to hit share though at the bottom.
I don't think we're being shared, Zach.
All you got to do is hit the button share, then select the screen you want to do. Come on in, Roundup homies. Let me change this. I don't like the way that doesn't hit hard enough. Let me change this. Lender raises over. Oh, let me get me out of that. There you go. Oh, that's the picture.
There we are. That's us. You look closely, Chris. We are a diverse crew.
Maybe I just couldn't see so close. That's not the picture I saw. I'm just giving you a hard time, brother. We just meeting, man. So I like to keep it fun.
And we're growing. We're constantly growing. We're about to bust out our building.
How are you growing so fast, dude? What the world are you drinking down there in the water?
It's that Ron DeSantis Florida stuff.
So Roundup, come on in. I'm hanging out today with my friend Ari. I've been dealing with some other people at his business for years, right? But now I get to actually talk to the man himself and talking about business credit lines. I was looking in my little back office because we do so much volume with them, and we've done over 7 million in lines of credit. And we want to see how Ari could possibly help you, right, in your business. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if you're selling shoes, sneakers, shingles, windows, cars, whatever it is. Extra financing may be good for you, but we don't know. So Ari's going to talk about some of the program and my mission to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship will be on maximum effort. My commitment to assisting you get through whatever the hell is coming in this crazy market that everybody's so nervous about and stocks are crashing and all this stuff. I don't want you to participate because I choose not to. Okay. So saying that, Ari Page, good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon, Chris. And thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, it's so good to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. I've been dealing with your people in your organization over the past few years. It's a pleasure. Thanks for doing business with us.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think we've served a lot of your clients, a lot of funding so far. So it's been a great relationship.
Yeah. So give us a little background, my friends, so that can bring us up to speed. You got some slides here. We've never had slides before with Ari, with him. So y'all bear with us as we go through these slides. This is so cool.
We got these slides.
We got slides, y'all.
All right. So yeah, we were established in 2007. And before that, we were doing mortgage loans. And then as the whole market crashed, we retooled our office and started doing funding. And we started doing business funding. And the reason why specifically business funding was because the clients that we were getting mortgages for prior to that were business clients. So we started needing to get stopgap money as the loan to value amounts were dropping. They had to come up with more of a down payment money. And so here we were helping them use the other asset they have, which is their business, to get money for their mortgages. And so what that did was that launched a whole new thing that we were able to focus on right when the mortgage loans were being ripped out of the market. And that was business funding. And since then, we've gotten over $1.3 billion of this type of funding. And the best part about it is that it has an introductory period of being 0%. And it works for every industry. We've served 29,000 entrepreneurs with this type of funding so far. And it's really beautiful because it can work for pretty much anybody.
Sweet. Now I want to make sure before we even get to what you offer, tell us who this is not for, Ari, because I'm gonna let you go. I don't want to cut you off too much, but can you just kind of say, because I know everybody's looking for money. I need money. I need money to do my business. Who is this not for? So we can kind of say, look, I don't want you go out there spending money on groceries, getting money to buy to pay rent and all that stuff.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is business funding, and so this is we're very serious about what we do.
Bring your screen, Ari. Sure. Tell your guy to bring your screen in. I can bring you in and out. Oh, I like that. Tell him to go to.
He's listening. He's listening. You tell him.
Your guy. Wow, you got some. What are y'all really?
We should point the camera on Zach.
Zach,
good work,
hit the
Zach.
share button, yo. Let me control a little bit of that, so because it's your switcher is taking Ari back down in the back. Can you hit the button? Go to the page on StreamYard and hit share, and then hit the screen. So we'll have two screens on there. Sorry about this, y'all. Y'all too high tech. I'm not used to you having so much high tech gear. There we go. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it, brother. So now I can bring you in like that, and boom, I can bring him back out.
We're learning new things here.
I can bring him in and out. We'll work on it together. We'll get it together. How many screens you got, Zach?
We're looking at 4 different screens right now.
So make sure you share when you click. Make sure you share the right ones. Just share the screen. Share the screen with his presentation, and I can bring him in and out, and I can put both of us in the box. Not that screen, though. Yeah, the other screen. So, Ari, while he's getting that, tell me, who is this not for, dog? Because I'm like, I don't want people think that, if I just had the money, that I could just do business.
Yeah, it's a good question. So this is business funding, and it needs to be used on or in your business, and it needs to be used for building a business. Now, in reality, there is no money police that's going to come and hunt people down and ask what you're spending it on. But for the type of funding that we set up is meant for businesses. And so if you are looking for money to pay your rent, or you're looking for money to pay off your college loans, this is probably not for you. And so what we're looking for is for clients that are looking for $250,000 of money to spend on their real estate, on their flipping, their fix and flip business, or on their buy and hold business, or on their Amazon, reselling business, or whatever business they have.
Yeah, okay. I just want to get that in the clear, man, because I see so many people. They come to me. Obviously, you're a money guy. You know, I'm in the money business too, but I think we've got this preconceived notion, like, if I just had the money, then I could do X.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think it's more of a strategy issue than just a money issue. Would you say?
Money issue. Exactly. Yep. You have to have a good business model, and don't spend until you are absolutely assured. Because remember, you're spending OPM. This is other people's money. This is borrowed money. This isn't cash in the bank that you can just throw away. You have to spend it wisely. And if you do, you're going to generate an ROI. And especially with the real estate market being as hot as it is. But at some point, we're going to be coming up on a correction coming up some point. Right. We don't know when.
Period.
But you also want to be positioned and be ready.
Yeah, that's deep, brother. Be ready means having finances and capital ready to take action. Are you saying?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Okay, and with this type of financing, you have to get it in place first. It's like having a mortgage. You know what I mean? You have to get access to the funding first. Then you can go out, and then you have access. You can go and purchase and rehab and flip and, use it for, all of your expenses on a rehab or whatever it is that your business is doing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Let me see if we can do this. So your guy has to switch screens. I know this is going to be a little almost there.
All right.
Nope. One more. Other screen. Right in StreamYard, he should be able to select this screen on there.
It's not an option because we're streaming through a separate board.
All right, let's do this. Let me do this. So I would just take me out. I'm going to go ahead and let you take it then. Go ahead.
There we go. All right. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the program, Chris, and then you make sure to cut me off and guide me in such a way that we're serving the viewers the best. You know what your guys are looking for. You know how they're going to use it. And let's make sure that I'm staying focused on that.
No doubt. So, I'll pop back in when I need to. Okay. All right.
Awesome. So here in the picture, you can see this is actually a shot from inside our building. Everyone working hard. That's only one of the rooms. That's part of the team that actually gets the funding. And so we're up to 23 million a month in funding. And that's of course for our entire client pool. That's not, that's every single client that, coming in every single month. So we're generating about 23 million a month. And our goal is to start hitting 25 million a month. And that's the total amount that we're generating for our team, for our clients. So we have a team of about 65 funding experts that work here in our building in Spring Hill. And if anybody's ever in the area, you guys stop by and say hi to us. But this is literally what we do all day long, is this credit card stacking program, business credit card stacking. And we're building clients up to 250,000 in about a 12-month period of time. And the best part about it is that it's on a 0% interest rate, introductory rate. And so the client will have a 0% intro period of time for, it could be 12 months, 18 months. We've seen it for as long as 22 months at 0%. And so if you don't believe me, guys, by the way, guys, you can go onto Google and type in 0% business cards and you'll see they pop up. Now, the question is, how do you get approved with a card like that? Not just how can I apply for it, but how can I get approved? How can I get 30, 40, 50,000 on one card? How can I do the card stacking process where I can get up to $250,000 of this and continue to rotate the balances, continue to move it off of one card when the 0% expires onto a new card at the 0% rate? And so this is literally what we do. And there's a lot of benefits to using this type of funding because you don't have to give collateral. And that's really, really huge. This is what's happened in the past downturns of the cycle downturns of the market, is that a lot of people lose a lot of assets because their loans are tied to the asset. And how great would it be if you're using funding that, regardless of what the market does, if the market tanks, you aren't going to lose your assets. If you use this funding for buying company vehicles, you don't lose your company vehicle. If the market should tank and God forbid you're unable to pay it, you're not going to lose your asset. That's what unsecured credit means. That's what no collateral means. A lot of people think the word unsecured is a bad thing. Like, oh, my funding's not secured. Yet you don't want it to be. You would rather use unsecured funding. That way, if you don't pay it, and God forbid that happens, but if the market should downturn, if everything goes to hell and you're unable to pay it, they're not going to take your company vehicle or the property that you're trying to flip or your company assets or your inventory or whatever it is that you purchased. That is super, super important.
That's
and
deep,
another,
that's deep. Let's stay there for a minute, Ari, because I think with us real estate guys, we're all about security. And we know if you do a deal in real estate, generally speaking, the lender is going to want to place a lien on that property, and they're going to be in first position, maybe second position. If you screw up, they're going to come take the house. I just think that is just huge to say that I'm going to have a financing that's going to be unsecured, Ari.
Yep. We have some clients that actually get this, and then they loan it out as a hard money loan. And I would rather be on that side of a hard money loan, of using my funding to give a hard money loan to someone else, than be on the side of receiving a hard money loan, which I've used many hard money loans before. I've used them. They've been helpful. But if I can get access to this type of funding, which is unsecured, extremely low to no interest, 0% for your introductory periods of time, that's really the way that you want to go, because you want to keep things liquid. And this gives you the ability to use it, to pay it off. You can get access to more. As you use it, the card stacking process gives you access to more and more funding. And it's, every time we go for another batch, the client gets another 50, 100 plus thousand.
Yeah, I've seen it, man. I've seen it. Roundup, if you're just joining us, I'm here with Ari Page. He's a business credit expert. He's got a company that is going to give us this real special deal only for my real estate Roundup homies, right? You're coming through us. We get a small commission, but that's how business is. We drive traffic for these companies, okay? So Ari is going over his program. If you need business credit lines, that link real quick will be in the video description, but Ari's going to kind of go over exactly how the program works. Keep going, Ari. Sorry about that, man. There's so much good stuff you got.
Yeah, no worries. So not only is this type of funding doesn't require collateral, which is unsecured, but it's not going to appear on the client's personal credit report, because we really want to be establishing business credit separate from personal credit. But one of the things that I like the best about it, and I'm not sure if you can see this over here, but is the rewards. The rewards, I don't know if I'm able, here we go. The rewards programs are just absolutely huge. And every quarter, Fund and Grow is getting around $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 back just from purchases that we're making using the business credit cards for Fund and Grow. We are spending on our pay-per-click. We could easily spend $100,000 a month just on pay-per-click, which is our ads on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And so these pay-per-click ads, you have to have a credit card in Google or Facebook system. These credit cards work perfectly for that type of expenditure. And then at the same time, as we're spending on our normal things like our phone system, which is, thousands of dollars a month, and just, the whole list of things is just astronomical. As we put all of that onto these types of business credit cards, we're getting cash back and reward miles and all of these different things every single quarter. Every quarter, we're getting, in some cases up to $10,000 back. And so that's a huge thing when I'm not even talking about flipping houses and all this other stuff. Right now, I'm just talking about the normal spending that my business has to do. I can get up to 10 grand back per quarter. Why would I not want to spend on a business credit card? Why would I want to spend out of my business bank account or with a check or out of my business debit? It's just not worth it. And with credit cards, you can do the famous chargeback. In other words, if I buy something and this vendor doesn't follow through, I just call my credit card company and get the money back.
Let's stay here for a minute.
Why would you not use a credit card? That is the way to go. For example, we had a client that was flipping a property, and they needed to put a new roof.
Please slow this down, Ari. You got to really do this. This here is a strategy that I'm just learning about. So, y'all, please pay attention. This is a beast move.
Yes.
Ari.
So,
I don't know where you're going, but you can hit it.
So using credit cards as a form of asset protection, business credit cards as a form of asset protection. If I purchase a home and I'm flipping this home and I need to put a new roof on it, we had this exact thing happen to a client. So they were putting a new roof on, and the roofing company didn't accept credit card. And so what we had to do, the roofing company accepted credit card. And so what we did, so the client went and they purchased it. They purchased using a credit card. And when they got their roof and they went and it didn't pass inspection, they went to the roofing company and they were like, listen, we're having this problem. It doesn't pass inspection. You didn't build it up to code. And they refused to come out. They refused to come out until the client called and charged back on the roof. They called the credit card company that they'd used to make the charge. And most of all these companies accept credit cards. They want to get paid. And so they charged back on the charge. And who do you think was calling them literally the next day? The roofing company. Hey, we want to come and make it good. We want to make it good so that they can defend their charge to the bank. And then that way, their whatever they paid or charged for the roof, that charge will go through. They want to win their charge back. And the only way to do that is to finish the job.
Ari, tell people, if you have never been on the receiving side of a chargeback, which I don't know about my Roundup homies who takes credit cards, tell people just the vigilance of credit card companies. It's almost like guilty until proven innocent when you have to prove on a chargeback.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Chris. And basically, so what Chris is saying is that if you have ever been, if you're a business that accepts credit cards and you've had a merchant or if you had a client charge back on your merchant account, then you're going to know that you have to be very specific. You have to be very accurate. You have to be very honest and ethical. Otherwise, they're going to shut you down and blackball you in the industry.
Wow.
And so, these companies that are accepting credit cards, they have to look at the chargeback. They have to either make the job right, or guess what? You get your money back.
Sweet.
And so this actually happened with a contractor, and I actually just had a situation, and I just realized it's kind of personal. I don't know if I even want to bring it up, but it was with a security contractor, and it was over $36,000, and it was a variety of different cameras. And the job was only partially done. Some of the equipment was purchased, some of it was installed. It had gone about 8 months past completion date. And I was basically to the point where we're like begging them just to finish the job. And it's like, you know what? At this point, we have no choice. We went and we charged back on every single one of the charges. And we, at the same time, in this instance, we went to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and we opened up a dispute on them at the same time. and we actually got back $36,000 on
Wow.
top of the equipment that had already been placed there.
Wow. That's
And
deep.
so
That's
now
deep.
we're able to go and finish that job. And the crazy thing is, this is the same security contractor that we had already used for another job that was upwards of 6 figures.
It was to show you that you just never know.
You just never know.
You never
But
know. How many-
paying on the credit card gave us that option. We paid them for the first job. They did a great job on that job. Why they could go from doing a great job to like not being able, a lot of it could have been, due to COVID. It could have staffing and so, but at the end of the day, guess what? Fund and Grow, we have clients that we've committed our resources and our word to. We have got to make sure that we get done what we've said we're going to get done. And so in the case where we're getting screwed, we went and used a chargeback ability on a business credit card, and boom, we were able to get our money back and just move forward with what we're doing.
I don't think a lot of people, I didn't know until I started taking cards. I don't think the credit card company, guys, if you don't know, is actually in business to protect the buyer. They're in business. If you try to collect money and people get squeamish about giving people their credit card number, I'm like, you have nothing to worry about. If something happens, all you have to do is call and they'll instantly take the money back and come after me.
Yep. You should be more worried about giving out your debit or a check with your checking and routing and banking info. They could literally suck out everything out of your bank account. And if you don't happen to catch it and then call in and stop it within a specific period of time, that's that.
Yeah.
They can't do that on a credit card. They could charge you 20 grand, 50 grand. It could be 30 days, 60 days later. You can still go and charge back.
Something. So look, I want to make sure my Roundup homies real quick. We're going to keep going. Some people are busy professionals, entrepreneurs. They want to get rolling. The link is in the video description. Ari is giving all of my referrals a $500 discount. He's been doing that for us. Ari, tell us just a little bit about some people that want to get started now, and then we'll keep going with your presentation.
So for anybody who wants to get started now, let me get that pulled up.
My bad. I didn't mean to bring it right
Yeah,
on.
no worries. So let's
take your time.
Yeah, we're just working on our slides here.
My bad.
All right,
well, I was going to say, you can come back. Oh, you got to fast forward and come back.
There we go. All right. So for anyone who wants to get to the website right now, go to fundandgrow.com/Chris Haskins.
We put it in the video description. They don't got to go. They can go right there below, or either one of them.
Okay, it's in the video description. Awesome. Now, if you go directly to fundandgrow.com, you're not going to get the $500 discount that Chris has secured for you guys. So it'll actually be a full $4,000 if you go to fundandgrow.com. So make sure you go to the website that we put up there on the screen so that you can get the $500 that Chris has negotiated for you guys. Now, for anyone who is looking at having Fund and Grow get you access to funding. Now, of course, if anybody on that's watching this video right now, if you go out on your own and you have fairly good credit and you try to apply, you're going to get something to come in. You might get 10,000, 15, who knows how much, but you're probably going to get something to come in if you have good credit and if you know all the different variables and to set it right when you do your applications, which is pretty easy. But if you're looking to get access to 100,000 or up to 250,000, that's when having a actual plan really makes sense. You don't want to start applying and then, kind of like walking uphill with a broken leg where you're applying and then you got inquiries on your credit report, then you're applying over here. And then maybe you try some negotiating with that bank. You can't do it like that. You have to have a very, very strategic and specific plan when you go into the application phase. So the way that Fund and Grow does it, and the reason I want to tell you our blueprint is because we're serving $23, $24 million a month in funding to our clients. Well, we're hoping to hit 24 million soon. And so that's the amount that we're getting. So I'm going to tell you our strategic blueprint, the way that we do it, because what we're doing is more than likely going to work for you as well. Now, if you're looking at getting the large amounts of funding, then you're going to have to, you're going to have to hire a company. That's just the way that it is. When you're trying to get the maximum of any specific industry, you have to let the experts do it if you want to get access to a lot. And so what we do
is that because of relationships, Ari?
Not really. We have had relationships with the banks, but what we've found works way better is for us to simply look at the metrics that the banks are looking at and expand and work with the client to expand their lendability to basically portray them to the bank in the most lendable light possible. And if we were doing a longer webinar and I was bringing up a credit report, I could even show you all the specifics in how granular we get when we're looking at the credit report and when we're getting the client ready for applications. And so most of it is about positioning the client properly, getting their entity set up properly, which is a huge part, and fixing different types of errors on their credit report. And if you look here, you can see there is just so many different types of, like, from the payment history. Let me see if I can write up here. So from the payment history to the amount of debt to all of these different variables here, underneath this on the credit report, there's a variety of different things that will hold a client back. And so what we do is we go, it's absolutely shocking the amount of times that things are I don't want to say misreported, because they're not misreported. The banks know exactly what they're doing. In fact, I got letters from banks telling me that, Ari, what you're saying on your webinars about the credit report and the banks, they're like, we're not trying to do that to people. We're not actually trying to obfuscate people's seasoning and their credit limit. And if you look at any of my webinars that I've done, we're very specific about these these certain variables, key variables on the report and how they have to be set up. And so the banks have literally sent me letters saying, we don't do that. And I have to respond by saying, you absolutely do. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of credit reports indicating that the banks play these games. They try to obfuscate people's seasoning. They try to mess with their credit limits. And instead of putting it in the limit field, they put it in this other field, which essentially allows them to indicate what amount of what the limit is, but it doesn't actually say what the limit is. And so when they put even $1 on that card, now they're over limit. And the banks play a lot of silly games like this. And so what we do is we look at the client's credit report. We come up with a custom funding plan. We talk to the client one-on-one. We tell them exactly what's going on with the report and how we're going to maximize their lendability. Because one client's lendability is going to be a lot different than with a different report. You know, everyone's report is different. It's like blades of grass in my yard. They're all different. And it's kind of hard. We, like an attorney, we have to look at the report in black and white before we can really make the determination. So it's hard to blanket advise everybody on a call. But suffice it to say that if you're trying to get the large amounts of funding, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need someone to actually look at your report, look over all the variables, see the ones that are helping, the ones that are hurting. Then what we do is we look into our software. In our software, our proprietary credit CRM, we have literally, almost 30,000 clients that have successfully gone through the program and got access to funding. And so we're able to take and aggregate this data in such a way where we can help get you the most amount of funding, where we can take you to the place that's going to be most lendable for you. And of course, a lot of that's based off of the way that our credit consultants have helped so many other clients through the process and gotten them a lot of credit.
All right, you were using some words back then, brother. Obfuscate. That went over my head, brother. What
the banks try to hide stuff from people. That's what they do. It's a professionally hiding it so that they can appear like they're showing it to you, but in reality, they're not. You know, like.
Give me an example. Are you talking about something that should be reporting or?
Yes. So an example is Bank of America, Chase, all these different banks have credit cards that they will not report a limit to the client's credit report. So let me give an example. If you have a $10,000 credit card and you use $5,000 on that $10,000 credit card, you've now used 50% of the limit, right? So if you've used 50% of the limit, your credit scores start to go down.
Gotcha.
Well, now what happens when the bank doesn't report the $10,000 limit? And you might think, it doesn't even make sense. Why would they not report the limit? Because the bank knows that you only have $10,000 on the limit. They're not going to let you charge more than that. But they don't want to report it to the credit report. Why? They don't want to report it because as soon as you put $1 on that card, you're now $1 over limit. And so they call these cards the open card. I think it's American Express calls theirs the open card. Bank of America calls theirs the fair and flexible. Chase calls it the no limit card. They all have cards and they target high-end consumers with these to bring your scores down. If you're someone who generally has good credit, but you're wondering, why can't I get $250,000 of this type of credit? This is why, more than likely. They're targeting you with these types of cards and they don't tell you There's no way you're going to figure it out unless you have someone like us that actually looks at it in black and white. We pull your report. We look at it very granularly. We look, how is it reporting to TransUnion? How is it reporting to Equifax? How is it reporting to Experian? We can even see the differences because a lot of times there'll be differences. Wow. And so these things on the screen here, this stuff really, really matters. So once we apply, I don't know, did I lose you, Chris?
I'm here. I just got to take myself out so they can see the screen.
Okay. So once we apply, that's now a whole new phase starts. So the first thing that we're doing is we're positioning the client. Then we're doing the applications based off of our historical data and where we believe we're going to get the maximum approvals for the clients. Then the next thing is for us to start the negotiation process. So all of this stuff is stuff that we're doing. This isn't stuff that the client's doing. And so when I talk about all the numbers, the 23 million, the amount of clients that we're signing up and all this, it's not in any way because me or Fund and Grow is trying to be braggadocious. What's actually happening here is that I'm applying for a job. I'm applying and asking your clients to hire me, to hire Fund and Grow to get you funding. So it's really important that I go over these bona fides and these different accolades that we have, which is that we have gotten, over almost 30,000 businesses access to $250,000 of this type of funding. We've built up to over 1.3 billion of this in the past years. And this is what we want to do for everyone on the call. So we don't mean to be bragging at all. We're actually applying for a job. We got to let you know our work history.
Well, I'm telling you, I go in my back office, I can save 7 mil and Roundup. I don't know what you could possibly qualify for business credit lines, but the link is in the video description. If you want to see how much you can get approved for, you have to use this stuff for business expenses. Please, I'm begging you, do not go out there and go to the club, vacation, get you a nice new car, all that mess. Okay, so this is strictly for people that want to leverage their business. Ari, what about if people don't have an LLC set up yet, or that's it. They have an LLC set up yet.
So then we'll help them get an entity set up. The entity is not going to be a reason why the client can't get started. So if the client has good personal credit, then we can help them with the entity and we can move them forward into funding. And as long as they have good personal credit, they're going to be able to move forward. Of course, if you have an entity set up, that makes it go even faster. If you have entity set up with good seasoning, that's even better.
Gotcha.
But the entity is not what's going to stop someone from moving forward. Generally, it's credit. If they have good personal credit. Now, I want to reiterate, the credit doesn't show up. This funding doesn't show up on the client's personal credit report, but they do want to look at the client's personal credit report and know that they have good credit. That's why we have to start by talking about the personal credit. This type of funding is personally guaranteed, meaning they're going to look at the personal credit report. It's tied to the personal credit report, but the business cards do not appear on the credit report. That way we can remember, if we remember back to my $10,000 credit card example, where if we hit $5,000 on a $10,000 card, it's a 50% limit. Mm-hmm. Well, on a business card, it doesn't matter because it's not even showing up on your personal credit report.
Credit. Gotcha.
That's the key. So it is personally guaranteed though. And they do want to look at your personal credit, but they're not going to report it against your credit. They're not going to show, any type of statistics. In other words, it's not going to pull your personal scores down. So if you have access to business credit, you can leverage the business credit. You can use it to purchase real estate, to flip, rehab, whatever you want to do. And it's not going to affect your personal scores at all. In fact, you need to keep your personal scores high throughout this process so that we can continue the card stacking process for you, so that we can continue to apply for other cards, move the balances, and continue the 0%.
Sweet. All right, keep going, man. You got some other slides there?
Yep. So this right here is the client journey. And you got this pulled up? Are you able to see?
Yeah, looks good.
Awesome. So right here is right when we have clients getting started. So this is presumably when people are coming into the program and getting started. So the first thing they do is they log on and they sign the documents in order for us to get started, which is going to include all the legal documents. We need to have a limited power of attorney, which is your permission for us to contact the banks and to do all of these applications for you. And it's limited to the scope of helping and giving applications, doing applications for you and doing things that help you. It's not anything that would ever be able to hurt you. So once you've accessed your portal, you log in, you fill out your information, you click the e-signature so that we can move forward. Then once your portal is complete, our team is going to go ahead and review your entire profile. Once your profile is reviewed, and we've pulled your credit and we know where we're going to apply, we're going to then contact you and we're going to go over everything that we can do to improve your lendability. So some of these steps are going to be things that we do. Some of these steps are going to be things that we need you to do that is your personal credit. And so after that, we then are going to start the applications, which is what we do. So we apply. We're going to share with you the plan of where we're going to apply, how we're going to apply, and anything that we need you to have on your mind and to be aware of during the application process. Then we start the negotiations. Now, negotiations is really where we get 2/3 of the total amount of funding. When we apply, we get 1/3. Then 2/3 of it comes from us negotiating. Negotiating is when our team contacts the bank, explains your business and how your business works in order to get more funding. This is how we're able to get the limits higher and higher and higher. It's the whole card stacking process. So once you have that, you're then able to utilize the funding and remove the inquiries because they're business inquiries. So a business inquiry can't be held against your personal credit report. A personal inquiry can. So if you apply for a personal credit card, it'll stay on your credit report. But a business inquiry cannot stay on a personal credit report. And so those ones can actually be disputed and removed based on off of that. Then at that point, we then are able to go back and review your lendability and see if any other type of positioning needs to happen before we can go and do the whole process over and over of obtaining higher amounts of funding, which is repeating the steps. And so this is the process of us card stacking, and we are just building more and more and more and more funding. And since we pioneered the card stacking process, it's taken off like wildfire all across the internet. There are so many companies out there now doing this process of applying for business credit cards for their clients and getting them access to more and then merging them together. And then because credit cards from the same institution, for example, Bank of America, you can apply for a MasterCard from Bank of America at 0%. And then if it's like 12 months at 0%, on month 11, you then apply for Bank of America's Visa card, Visa business. They also have MasterCard business. And so once you have the second card, let's say that they give you $20,000 on the initial MasterCard from Bank of America, $20,000, 0% for 12 months. So then on month 11, we apply for the Visa from Bank of America. And let's say they only approve us for $10,000. They're like, listen, we gave you $20,000 at the beginning of the year. So we're only going to give you $10,000 now. We say, fine, we'll take it. So we take it. And then we call them on a separate call. And we merge the two accounts together. So instead of having a MasterCard and a Visa from Bank of America, you now are down to just having the Visa. And we merge it into the card that has the longest seasoning, the one that was opened the longest. And when we merge a 0% card, they give you 0% on the entire account. This is the only way to re-incept the 0% on an existing account is by applying at the same institution, merging it together. And now guess what? Now you can apply for the Visa again, 11 months from now, because you're back down to just having just one of the two cards. But now that has a higher limit. This is how you build the limits higher. And we do this for thousands and thousands and thousands of clients. This is something that really, really works well. If you go online, you'll just see that there is literally thousands and thousands. I think we're over 4,000 reviews online that are 4 point something star, almost 5-star. And a lot of these clients are doing real estate. That's just one of the main things that people are doing now. There's so much money to be made in real estate right now, and especially getting prepared for the coming correction that's going to come to the market. There's a coming correction. We got to get our cash ready for that.
That's right, man.
So here, I just brought up a little picture of of our office. This is actually, we're sitting in this building right here in sunny Florida. Palm trees growing all around us. and we're busy funding away. The office is buzzing right now. We have about 65 people in here, and they're just actively applying, getting access to funding. I mean, we have people all different positions, but the majority of the team, that's what they're doing, is they're applying and they're negotiating and they're getting clients access to funding.
So Roundup, if you're interested, if you need to get financing, if you need to get ready for whatever's coming, we're in a volatile market. Turbulent times are here. You've seen the foreclosures. You've been following my content. That just 30 came out this past couple of days ago in my area. Market is shifting. If you haven't been around, I've been around since 2004, so I know that it takes about 4 months. It's so amazing how market can go from A to Z. Well, I said call it a market swing. How long you been around in the real estate game, Ari?
Since about the same time, a little bit later, since about 2006.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you saw 2008 then. You was
got in a rough time. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah. So it shifts real quick. You can't even see it. It almost does it behind a curtain, and then next thing you know, credits frozen, can't sell, prices coming down. And we have to be able to pivot if we want to survive whatever's coming. So that link's 100%. In the video description. Roundup. It has been an honor to hang out with you. And we got some questions here. Anything else you want to add, Ari, before we get to some questions, or what? You got some more slides?
One that pops up often is, what if my credit's not good enough? Like, what if I don't qualify? And I just want to let people know, because when I first got started, me and Chris were kind of chatting before the show started, and I was reminding him that I used to live where he lives now. I used to work in the shipyards. Up in Virginia Beach and Portsmouth, Newport News. And back then, I had crappy credit. I wanted to get into investing, and I worked really hard. I went from complete blue collar to where I am today. And part of that was having to go through and fix my credit. And I had like 33 derogatory items on my credit report. That it was something like that, 30 something, and that I had to get deleted. And so like that was like a real difficult thing to get done, but to clean up my credit. But in the process of doing that, I found that a lot of these other credit repair companies out there are kind of like fly by night, to say the least.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that there's a lot of credit repair companies out there that are saying that they want to help the client, but in reality, they're just trying to get them onto a payment, like a monthly recurring continuity program. $20 a month, $30 a month, $50 a month. Believe it or not, getting all the items off means they no longer charge the $50. And you know what? It's the FCC that has actually, the FTC that's actually pushed for this, because they don't want people to charge upfront for credit repair. They don't want them to charge in all these various ways. So they make it so that pretty much the only way to charge is on this type of subscription model, which is actually incentivizing the businesses to take more time. They want them to take more time. So what do a lot of these credit repair companies do? They send out letters. They do the same thing that you and I could do. So what I did was I found that there was 4 different ways to dispute with the credit bureaus. There's 4 channels. Most people just send a letter. They just use one of the 4 ways. So they send a letter. But did you know that you can fax in your dispute to most of the credit bureaus? I think 2 of them allow for fax. One of them no longer does fax. But all 4 of them allow for a verbal dispute. All 3 of them allow for a verbal dispute. All 3 of them allow for a electronic digital dispute. So there's 4 ways. There is a letter, there is a fax dispute, there is a digital dispute, and there is a verbal dispute. And so all 4 of these you're literally switching gears, changing channels, interacting with a completely different department. If you can't get it off from sending in a letter, you might get it off on the online, when you're doing a digital dispute. Or you might get it off by calling in. When you talk to the people that are trained to interact verbally and deal with irate people, these people on the other end of the phone on Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, they can literally, if they want, they can just delete it right off your credit report.
Wow.
So there's 4 ways. And if the company that you're working with that's disputing on your credit report, if the credit repair company that you're working with isn't calling in and doing an actual phone dispute, if they're not doing a digital dispute, if they're not doing a fax dispute, and this is all on top of doing the mail disputes, you don't want to just keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results, because we know what that's the definition of.
Yeah.
And it's not the definition of success. It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And that's what most of these credit repair companies do. They send out a letter for you every month, and then they get to charge you $50. What we want, what Fund and Grow wants, we want to get you into the funding program. So if you get started with us and you have bad credit, we need to get you out of credit repair. We need to get you into funding. We're only hitting our numbers when we're getting you access to funding. So for us, it's not about the credit repair. The credit repair, there's a company that we started called Kadem Credit Help. And we have many, many clients that go into that program, and they end up being able to come into Fund and Grow with clean credit, so that we can, first of all, boost their profiles, build them a robust personal profile, and then build them a robust business profile. So that's a lot of times when someone has bad credit, we have to create a good personal profile. We have to make it robust. We have to get a variety of different accounts set up for them to help create a strong predicate, so that when we apply for business, they have a good, strong personal report. And so everyone's in all these different situations, and our program is very nurturing in the way that it looks at the business and it helps build up wherever the person's scores are. Now, there's going to be some times where there's clients that we don't want to work with, where if a client has really bad credit, we're going to ask you to go into credit repair first. We don't want you to sign up for our program and then go into credit repair. We're going to put you in, we're going to ask you to not sign up for our program and have you go into the legitimate credit repair process to get these items removed and deleted. And then you're going to be able to come to Fund and Grow. And if you need a help in a referral for that, we can give you that. We can give you help for a referral for that. But suffice it to say that until you get the derogatories removed, you're not going to be able to move forward and get access to this sweet type of funding, which is unsecured, doesn't show up in your personal credit report. If the worst should happen and you're unable to make the payment, and of course, we're advocating for you to use this credit responsibly. But if something should happen in the economy, and if everything should crash, and if you should be unable to make the payment, they're not going to come and take your house away. They're not going to take your company vehicles away. They're not going to take whatever you purchased with the credit. So if you got $250,000 and you invested it, whatever you invested it into, that cash flow is still going to be intact. It's still going to be generating money for you, even if you have to default on it. Of course, we're not recommending that anybody defaults. Our clients default rarely. Very few people are coming to us and paying us to get them $250,000, and then they're, not being responsible with the credit. So this is not a get rich quick thing. This is about, if you already have a powerful business model that you want to put to work, then our funding can easily be plugged in to help you make that work.
That is sweet. Sweet. That's good information. Ari, you've been talking so much information. I feel like a lot of this kind of went over my head. I'm presuming you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, since about 2006.
You've been in the credit game since that time.
Yes. Yep.
Good gracious, man. So if
I've
anybody
seen the
wants
markets go up and down.
Yeah, you've seen them. I'm just imagining what your business looked like then and now. If you want to get started, Roundup, the link is in the video description, or Fund and Grow / Chris Haskins. You'll find out how much you qualify for. I don't know. Ari doesn't know right now until you apply. Now, the good thing I heard you, Ari, is if their credit's all jacked up, you don't want any of their money. You're not in the business of just saying, look, pay me to repair your credit.
Exactly. We have a referral that we can make for our other company that does credit repair, but that's not even, like if someone's looking for legitimate, honest credit repair, then yes, you can go there and you can use that. But primarily what we're doing is we're getting funding. There was just this problem. There was this problem in the industry where we didn't know where to send our clients to legitimately, quickly, effectively remove the derogatories, and that they were going to always work with us. Some of the credit repair companies they kind of work with you and then they fall off. Then they try to charge your clients more. They try to charge your clients more than what they said they were going to. Then they do less than the term that they said they were going to. And we're just like, no, we can't do this any longer. So that's why we here at Fund and Grow, we actually started a whole nother separate company called Kadem Credit Help. And Kadem Credit Help specifically, as all it does is the credit repair for our clients. Legally, it has to be completely two separate companies. They're literally in a completely separate building, a whole separate staff, and they're a wonderful company. But it was set up as a response that we needed because we couldn't find other credit repair companies that were going to be legitimate and in the way that we were looking. We needed them to be highly aggressive to remove things off their credit report within law. Highly aggressive. We didn't want to work with one of the ones where it's like you're charging, they're paying $50 a month or whatever, and it's like driving your car in the rain expecting it to be clean. It just doesn't work. It has to be aggressive, it has to be legal, and it has to be fast so that we can get the client back into funding.
It seems like that's the new hustle nowadays, credit repair. And I don't have anybody I don't advocate this credit repair on my channel at all. So many people.
Yeah.
So this is business credit lines, y'all. Get into the money. Get your business up and running. Go ahead, Ari. I got cues here. I got questions here, but I'm gonna let you keep going, brother.
Oh well, we've pretty much reached the end. So let's get to the questions.
This is so cool that Ari has slides. That was really nice, brother.
Worked hard on that one.
Yeah, man. I like the whole presentation. That was really nice. So Roundup, the links in the video description. Get rocking and rolling if you're looking for business credit lines. Talking about showing up on it's not based on guaranteed by the business. It's personal credit. MK Mitchell wants to know about that.
So can you repeat the question?
Is it not based or guaranteed by the business? It's personal credit. So how is it not showing on my personal credit, but reporting for the business?
So, and that's a great question because they are looking at the personal credit report, but in conjunction with the EIN number of the business, also known as the ITIN or the tax ID number, it's all referring to the same exact number. It's kind of like the social security number of a business. When used in conjunction with the application correctly, then the application for credit is not going to even show up on the individual's personal credit report. Gotcha. So, and like there's some companies like Capital One where they offer a business credit card, but the business credit card does appear on your personal. Even when you put your social and your ITIN in correctly, they still report it. So we don't take Fund and Grow clients there.
Gotcha.
We only take Fund and Grow clients to banks that will not report. And so we have a list of banks that do report, and we have a list of banks that don't. And if we need to help a client build, like I was mentioning earlier, if a client has lower personal scores and we need to create a more robust profile for them, then we might apply for some of those cards that also report to the personal in order to help build a more complete and rounded out profile for them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen you do some amazing stuff. I never even knew that what you offered even existed in the marketplace, Ari, to be honest with you. Needed this, Little Miss Chocolate. Hey, how you doing? Let's see. Does this work for people who need to upgrade their business site, payroll, physical equipment, and software, Ari? Can they use the financing for that? Absolutely.
Yeah. So that works. It works great for inventory. It works great for anything that you want to purchase with a credit card. It works great. But even if the business does not accept credit cards, we're going to show you how you can use your business credit card, even if where you're trying to purchase from doesn't accept a credit card. There's other companies that you can go to where you go and you swipe the card with them and they send a check. So it's really cool. You could send a wire transfer, an ACH, or a check. So you take your credit card and you run the credit card, you just swipe the credit card, and then boom, they send out a wire transfer to or an ACH or a check, depending on what you're trying to purchase from what company. Yeah. And usually these are bigger purchases. Like for example, there was a time where someone was paying for a contractor and it was like a $30,000 purchase on putting up the block, just the block work on this one specific home. And the contractor didn't accept credit card. So they went and they ran the credit card through this process and it charged them, I think it was like 2%. And then it sent a check And then when the masonry company received the check, they deposited it and did the job. And then that way it was charged to the credit card.
Sweet.
But yet not, even though that company didn't accept credit card.
Yeah,
so there's limitless ways to be able to get the money off the card when the need arises.
Mm-hmm. That sounds sweet. So Roundup, and we're going to keep going here, but if you're ready to get started, he's giving my Roundup homies a $500 discount. You cannot get this anywhere else. I'm already an advocate on your behalf. I've talked to him and his company and his team. If you want to see how much you qualify for, the link is in the video description. Let's see what next question we got. MK Mitchell, how long does it take for credit repair? So many companies, if you have to do credit repair. Can you say that, Ari?
From seeing so many clients go through the credit repair process, I can tell you that I've had clients that had like 7 items on their report, and their report was ready in 45 days. But then I had other clients that had 1 item on their credit report, and it literally took 8 months for 1 item to come off.
You don't know.
And so, it's all different. The best thing that I can recommend is to start attacking it right away. And remember, if you have 1 late payment, that's actually 3 late payments. It's late on Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. If you have a late payment, if you've been late on your auto loan twice, that means that you have 6 derogatories, 2 late payments on each bureau. Gotcha. And so you really want to start attacking it right away, and you can get these things removed just by asking over and over to get them removed.
Gotcha. T-Sean wants to know, once you set up the LLC, is that when you apply? Do they set the LLC up first, or do you assist with that as well? I guess kind of get into that a little bit.
Yeah, once the client gets started with us, we're going to, in part of their review, when we're reviewing their profile and looking at their credit, that's when we're going to interact with the client about their entity. And if they need help setting an entity up, that's when we'll help them set it up.
Gotcha. Anthony Russell, what is Fund and Grow's cut? All right, do you get do you get a piece of their what they apply for?
Our cut is what we're charging you. Our cut is our membership fee. So we charge you $3,500, and that is for a year's worth, for 12 months of the credit card stacking process. And so we're going to do about 3 to 4 batches, which is 3 to 4 different application batches of the card stacking process. So which could be 5, 6 cards on each one of the application batches, which generally aggregates around $250,000 in funding. Some clients it's more, some clients it's less, depending on the way that their score is.
Gotcha. Y'all got that there. Let me move it back there. So that link is make sure Roundup, hit that, smash that thumbs up in the video description for optimization purposes, so we can help our community. Only if you need financing for business purposes. Don't be like me. I got my first line of credit back when I first started business. Oh boy. Oh man. I thought you could spend this money on whatever you wanted to. Come to find out, once you spend it, it's gone. You're still in debt, and you're still trying to figure out business, so you cannot spend it on consumable goods. Take it from me. Don't be like me. Don't spend your money on anything that's consumable, okay? Has to be able to make you money.
Now, another bonus that we're giving out is our Dun & Bradstreet corporate credit building program, which is a whole nother type of funding that we haven't even talked about so far on the video. And this type of credit is through basically vendors will directly extend credit to you, such as the Home Depot or Lowe's or Amazon. This is what corporate credit is. So these corporate credit accounts, these corporate creditors don't know what your score is like. And so they have a credit bureau called Dun & Bradstreet. And so we help our clients with this type of corporate credit. Now, initially, when you first start with corporate credit, you're going to get credit lines at places like Office Depot and Home Depot and Amazon and Uline Shipping and places like that may not necessarily immediately be helpful. But what you're doing is you're building up a score. Just like when you were in high school, if you had never used your credit before, you don't have any exposure. So when you have no exposure to Dun & Bradstreet for this kind of corporate credit, and the cool thing about the corporate credit is that it's non-recourse. It has nothing to do with you personally, nothing to do with your personal credit. They don't look at your personal credit. They don't care about your personal credit. They don't care about you as a person. They're looking at your business only. So Dun & Bradstreet credit is really it's kind of the cream of the crop. This is the type of funding that we used when we bought our new building. So in the picture here, that you can see our new building, and we didn't use any type of personal guarantee or anything like that for this building. This was bought using corporate credit. So Funding Grow and our business qualified for the loan. And this is where we want to help other people. We want to help you buy $1 million building using your corporate credit, where you don't have to sign on the line for, you don't have to put up the owner as the guarantor, where if, God forbid, we don't make our payment. Well, I mean, it's almost paid off, but it said, God forbid, that we're unable to make our payment. They're not going to come after me personally. They're never going to come after Ari Page. They're not going to come after my credit report, because it's a corporate credit loan. It has nothing to do with me personally. And so that's the cream of the crop type of credit that we're going to help all of our clients have access to, that type of funding. So that's what we call corporate credit. And so corporate credit is different than business credit, because business credit, while you can get access to lots of cash right away, it's personally guaranteed. So I know it seems confusing. We're going over all these things, but basically I'm just talking about two forms of credit, guys. So the business credit is personally guaranteed, but it doesn't show up on your personal credit report. And then the corporate credit is not personally guaranteed. There is no guarantor to it at all. It's guaranteed off of the business, but it's a little harder to qualify for that. So that's why we start people with the easier credit that you can get cash and you can access it easily and use it. And then we transition people onto the corporate credit. And that's a part of the process that everyone gets access to once you get into the program. You'll see the whole corporate credit side of our program inside the login.
Sweet. Let's do that. One other question. We'll take one more question. We'll get out of here. Baby crying in the background. Roundup. If you haven't already, just go in the video description. We'll go to fundinggrow.com/Chris Haskins to see how much you qualify for. It takes about 2 minutes. Tell them what happens, Ari, just so they can kind of get a visual on after they enter the information to the site. Do you call them? Did you send them an email? Did your team? What happens after that?
Perfect. So once you get started with us, and let me see if I can erase this stuff. Oop. So once you get started with us, I'm going to just go over the process one more time, but I'll keep it quick. So you're going to get started by paying us, essentially, which gives you access to your portal. Then you're going to log into your portal. You're going to e-sign your documents, giving us permission to move forward. Once your portal is completed, we're going to be doing your credit review. We're then going to contact you and do an overall lendability review with you. We're going to tell you what we want you to do. We're going to tell you what we're doing before we apply, because we got to make sure that everything's perfect before we apply. We can't apply and then try to update stuff. So we got to update it first. Then we're going to move into applications and negotiations, which is something that is completely on us. The majority of all of this is on us. There might be a little bit of help that we need right here in step 5 in approving overall lendability, because there might be some stuff that only you can access. It's yours, So then we do the applications and the negotiations, meaning that we apply. And then we do our secret sauce, where our negotiators are negotiating up the total amount of funding that you have. Then you get access to it and you can use it. And then we start it all over again, just repeating the steps of 6 through 9, which is getting you funding and just building your aggregate amount up.
Asad Jamil wants to know, what's the normal APR for business credit cards, Ari?
So the normal APR could be anywhere from 13, 14 to 16%, but we're not advocating that you use the card without it being on its 0% period. So when we're applying, we're going to get a 0% for 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. The shortest is 6 months, but we don't advocate using the card with the interest rate. We only advocate using the card when it's on 0%. And then that way we can continue the card stacking process. If we need to merge cards together in order to reincept the 0% on a whole account, then we can apply for the alternate card in the future, and we can continue the card stacking process.
Gotcha. Okay, that's it, man. Final thoughts for anybody that's looking to get business credit. All right, and then we'll let you get out of here. Roundup homies, get down to the description and see how much you qualify for.
So yeah, Chris, my final thought is if we have anybody that's on this video that's sitting on the fence and where you have a great business idea, you see a niche market where you can make a difference, where you know that there is people out there that need what it is that you're bringing to market, but yet the one thing is that you're not able to get access to, let's say, your marketing or your inventory or personnel. You don't have money for hiring or for a remodel or for doing an interior build out on a storefront or for whatever your business needs. I recommend that you take action and that you get started, that you believe in your model. If all you need is funding to plug into your model, then I recommend that you believe in your model enough to say, you know what, I'm going to make the jump. I'm going to make the dive. I'm going to move forward. And so many people right now are getting positioned and getting ready for the next course correction of real estate. Yeah. There's going to be a market correction, and those that are prepared right now are going to be able to really capitalize on that. So I want to really recommend to everyone, if you have a good model and if you are ready to move forward, go ahead and get started so that you can get access to the funding for when your opportunity is ready.
Yeah, so we got 70 people on here, Ari, listening to everything what you're saying, and this you have magic. Your staff is unbelievable. They're calling people back. They're on top of it. Spreadsheets, letting them know all that stuff. I want to thank you for serving my community, my friend.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you for serving our community. We really appreciate you, and what you're bringing to the market is absolutely invaluable. And the guidance that you bring to so many is so needed, especially now where we have this fight between the market and government. And people are so much more in charge of their life when they're out there doing it, when they're running a business and they're directly taking what they know how to create and they're representing it directly to the market. And that's why we're just the biggest proponents of small business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, Roundup, you got the link down there below. Get started now, only if you're using it for business purposes. Don't come talk to me when you took a trip, car, all this stuff. I have no sympathy for you if you're not going to use it for business purposes. You're going to use it for what Robert Kiyosaki calls doodads. We don't buy doodads with this financing. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, Roundup homies. And tonight, don't forget, they're trying to chop me off. They're trying to shut me down, Airbnb here in Newport News, Virginia. If you're in the area, make sure you come to I'm looking at it here, the city council meeting tonight, 7 o'clock. Speak up for us landlords. They're trying to ban short-term rentals right here in Newport News in the Hampton Roads area. We need your support. Okay, so come tonight to the city council meeting. All right, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.
Thank you, Chris.